It's my favorite kind of voice. Is that morning.
I got that
Key West party voice.
Yeah, that lurch voice this morning.
Yeah.
You rang.
Welcome to the Backyards of Key West podcast with your host, Mark Baratto. A show about local businesses, artists, musicians, and the stories behind them.
Well, welcome.
Well, glad to be here.
It's glad to have you here.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting when somebody who adjusts their own mic and prepares everything themselves is
it's a little different, huh?
Oh yeah. It's much better.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a sip of our coffee and then you could introduce yourself, what you do, and all that great stuff.
Gosh, it'd be easier to tell you what I don't do, but
amen, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm Danny Lynn, Tiki Man, as they call me, with Tiki Man Radio, and we also got the hippie chick here.
Here she is.
She's not on the mic with us, but so yeah, Tiki Man Radio is going into its 7th year. 8 years will be next year. So it's just a good time. We do coastal Americana music, and we stream around the world and reach about 28 countries. And we got live shows every week, and we're down here in Key West for the Tiki Man Radio Songwriter Showcase. Key West bound. 5 years.
Yeah, amazing. Hello. So let's get back into a little origin story, a little beginning of how you got into this. Were you always involved in radio? Is this something you wanted to do?
I always tell people you don't get into radio, you fall into it.
Yeah, for sure.
A friend of mine had a radio station called Tiki Island Radio, and I was just like everybody else. I was a listener, and he and I became really good friends.
And where were you living at this time?
We live in Harrison Bay, Tennessee, right outside of Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in Pennsylvania, and he had the radio station there. We started talking about, we have a tiki bar back home that's been there for 18 years, and he was always intrigued by the tiki bar. I was intrigued with Tiki Island Radio.
Yeah.
We became really good friends. Next thing you know, I'm doing a happy hour show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
From behind the tiki bar?
Yeah. I built a little studio inside the house, and it became it gets in your blood. And,
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm taking it on the road. I was in finance for about 20 years, and I took about 4 years off and traveled around with a radio station. And
so you have your finance job, you got a little bug for the radio, and then next thing you know, you're like, I'm going to take a small hiatus and travel around. And was it still under his, I guess, radio umbrella?
It was, and then we became partners because from a business side of it, I wanted to make the radio station better. I wanted to have some sponsors. I wanted to have some commercials in there because it was really like a Polynesian style type music back in those days, and I wanted to incorporate more of the trop rock artists.
Yeah.
Then he decided he was going to take another job that was not going to allow him to do it. And by that time, I had invested all the money and everything.
Right.
So I just launched Tiki Man Radio out of that.
And had you made the jump already to sever all parachute with your other job? And were you fully vested now in doing this?
I was fully invested, yeah.
So you kind of rebranded it a little bit, and you're like, all right, we're going to add some more artists, some more music into there. Mm-hmm. But was it making any money? Were you paying any bills with this?
Nobody
how
makes,
that works.
Howard Stern's the only person I know that really makes good money in radio.
Right. That's not radio, that's branding.
Yeah.
He's making money because he's branded himself.
But as time went on, we started getting some really good sponsors. People liked what we did. If the radio station is sustaining itself and paying for equipment and taking,
if you're not losing money, then it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
So yeah. And now since COVID was a very good thing for internet radio.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everybody's working from home.
Right.
They're able to listen to it. Last year, we did our festival virtually. and we hired a production company, Box Line Box, which is also the sister of Brian Fields, which my partner that do that down here. And they taught us how to do the whole thing virtually. It was really cool, kind of like the CMTs did it that year. You know, they'd go over to this stage and go to that stage. We did the same thing.
Yeah.
But we learned so much through that process to where now we've incorporated our YouTube channel to the show. So we stream everything on YouTube and the radio at the same time.
Right. So that the listeners could understand, because they know radio, they're listening to a podcast, and then you had your radio, but it was all internet broadcasted. It wasn't like you had a big tower with a big antenna, right?
That's right. That's right.
So it wasn't terrestrial. It was all...
Wasn't terrestrial radio.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, which, you know, internet, most terrestrial radio stations are internet as well.
Yeah.
They all have an app.
Right.
They're all being streamed on TuneIn or something like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
You know, the days of... you know, I can foresee, you know, all cars coming out with, and they are now coming out with internet, and you'll be able to put apps and do all this and do that and all that stuff.
Of course. So, yeah. I mean, most have Alexa now, and you can just say, Alexa, play Tiki Man Radio, and then there you go.
There you go.
Right. So when you started really diving in and doing this and making adjustments to the model that was there for sponsorship and stuff like that, how did you start looking for talent? Because I know it's not just you playing all the music you love, right? Like I'm, I guess, the host of my show and I have guests on. Right. But you, when I've listened to your stuff, have a lot of acts. You have this person playing in this hour. You're kind of branding individual people to be playing on your station. How did you start? Was that how it was before? And how did you start looking for those people?
No, we focus on a lot of the up-and-coming artists that's kind of new to our genre type of music. But Tiki Man Radio, under that umbrella of Americana, we play jazz, we play blues, we play a little bit of rock, you know. So it's a good mix of music which came out of that Tiki Bar. Yeah. You know, we used to just have a 50+1 CD player out at the Tiki Bar, and people would be listening to music. And that's kind of...
Yeah, it's like your playlist. Kinda.
Yeah, it's a great playlist.
Yeah.
So, now, you know, there's about, you know, I don't know, 8,000 to 10,000 songs in there. And we have a playlist for new music. It goes out and grabs one of those new songs every 20 minutes. And it's constantly updated. So that's where the branding comes into play. Right. If somebody's got a new CD, we invite them onto the Sunday show. Yeah. We interview them. We talk about it. We put them on that playlist. And people will... get to hear that, because a lot of people will take, if they don't do something like that, that new music gets lost in the mix.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, from a terrestrial standpoint, it was always, there was a lot of gatekeepers and there was a lot of people who could make or break a musician, right? Like back in the day, the DJ had a lot of power, because if they played your song, you could become a #1 hit because of that in a major station. So nowadays, a lot of DJs are just playing what the hits are, which are kind of just recycled from station to station. Yeah. Whereas having now the ability to have your own, be in control of the music you play, you're able to find the Cliff Codys and the people like that who are big and getting bigger, right? As more and more people interview them and play their music and introduce music to the people. It's kind of like removing the middleman. That's the way I like to look at it, especially for my podcast, because it's the audience and me. Sure. There's no filter in between that, which nobody, just like with Joe Rogan, no one's telling him what he can and cannot do. Right. So it's important to be able to have that bridge to do that. So how do people listen?
Well, you can download an app just like any other.
It's a Tiki Man Radio app?
Tiki Man Radio app. It's on all the platforms, you know, for Apple and Android. We're on several different platforms like TuneIn, Radio FM, Stereo FM. I mean, if you go to the TikiManRadio.com, there's a player on there. You can pull that right up on your phone, but it also has on there all the platforms that you can listen to us on.
That's great. I mean, you're making it easy. You are stretching and moving the business around the listener, not going like, oh, these are the only ways. Yeah. You're like, hey, you only have a computer, you can listen.
Yeah, you can stream, you can listen to Tiki Man Radio on 11 different platforms, including our website.
That's great. So. And when you first started, did you see any growth? Like, tell me, because a lot of people are so impatient, you know, like especially with podcasts, there's like 10 million 5-episode podcasts out there, and then it just drops away because they're like, where's my audience? They're not coming. And then they'll realize, you know, time is a big player in this kind of business.
Well, I only do live radio.
Yeah.
I actually don't like to do pre-recorded radio. I put too much. It's more work for me.
Yeah.
Live radio, it is what it is.
Right. There's no post-production.
Yeah, that's right. And now with the added YouTube channel, Tiki Man Radio YouTube channel, it's archived over there.
Yeah.
And people can go back and watch it, and they do all the time.
Right.
All of our shows, all of our interviews that we've done that are cut out separately, our big shows, big festivals, things like that, are all archived over at SoundCloud.com.
Right. And you can probably go to, like, say you want to go to Apple Podcasts, you can listen to previously recorded stuff there too.
Absolutely.
Just not live stuff there.
Right.
So the best, from the people listening, jump on board, listen. The best way to do it is just go to the website, find the apps you love, or download your app, because that's probably going to be the easiest way.
That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Take it with you everywhere you go.
Exactly. I mean, it's everywhere. You get, you know, the benefit of all that.
Yeah.
All right. So you start growing the business. When did some scale start to happen?
Well, I would say that the biggest thing with our station is it's very, very interactive with the listeners. So when we're doing a show, people are chiming in on Facebook, and they're involved.
So you're live streaming on social media too, besides
well, we're
YouTube.
live. It has always been on the radio on our app. And that's how people, but they're also chiming in on our Facebook posts from that morning, or sending us messages. Now they're chatting through the YouTube. It's gotten so big now that I have to have several people, including the hippie chick, in the studio to do the shout outs.
Yeah.
You know, so with the addition of that brought sponsorship. People would see this and like, wow, man, look at all these people that are, interacting live with this show. And they would tell a sponsor about us.
Right.
And they would call, we'd get in touch with them. We've had many sponsors over the years, but we like to think of it as a partner more than a sponsor.
Right. Well, they get to see the interactivity immediately because they see people commenting and posting and all this instead of like, oh, here are numbers that we'll provide behind the scenes that you don't even know are real or not, right? They see the engagement, which is really great about doing live radio like that. So give us an example, because a lot of people are like, live radio, how's he doing that if he's sitting right here? What's going on? So like on a week like this where you're away, and I want to get into the show that you have going on, how are things being manned at the station? Like, how does it work?
Well, I have a base there, obviously, and it's playing. It's already loaded up with commercials and everything, and it just runs. Right. And when we're here,
which is like most terrestrial too, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
When we're here, then we do it's a remote broadcast.
Got it.
Right. So we just override the base. The base is always running on the back.
And then if there's somebody who has their hour show, they would just do their show like they normally do. You guys don't even need to be there for that.
That's true. Yeah. We have a show on Wednesday called Tropical Country with B-Dog and Lou. So that's more of the countryside. It's live. It's also on YouTube. And then we have a show on Friday night called Island Vibes with Scotty Chill.
Yeah.
And then we have a thing we do on Saturday called Jukebox Saturday, which is goes back and plays all that shagging music from the 60s and 70s, complete with commercials. People love it. And then the big show is every Sunday from 10 to 1.
And how did you figure out how to do all this as far as a technology standpoint? Because it seems like you're making it sound really easy. Like, hey, Scotty Chill, he just pushes a button from his office and then it's broadcasted live. But I know there's a lot more than that. So, like, how did you navigate that?
I'm very self-taught. Let's put it that way. I'm a student of always trying to make it better. And even with the way it is now, I'm still trying to make it better and more visible for people to see with the YouTube. We put a lot of the YouTube things really changed the whole radio station. Yeah. Because now the sponsors can see their logos. They can see their videos and all that stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, and it gives the ability for a lot of documented content. Yeah. It's a lot easier. I prefer audio over the written word, and some people prefer the written word. But if you love video and into video, that is the number one, because video can get extrapolated into audio and can get transcribed into the written word. And when it comes from video, you have endless content for social media. I mean, you can chop up, and especially if you have other people talking during their radio show themselves, you have their content, you have your content, you have people coming in, you have all this kind of activity that's going on, that it's like, in a 1 hour show, that's like 6 months worth of content.
It
just
really
there.
is. It really is.
It's really good. Who's teaching you that? How are you navigating social media and the promotion of?
Well, the good thing about YouTube is YouTube will teach you.
That's true.
But, it's been hundreds and hundreds of videos. And then really everything that's on YouTube about how to stream or do this or do that does not apply to radio.
Right.
Because, everything that I do, the sound quality has to be perfect for the radio, because it's streaming on the radio at the same time. So there's always another 5 steps, and there's nobody out there on YouTube. And I'm not going, and I know why they don't do it, is because once you learn it, you really don't want everybody else doing it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Everybody needs to do their homework and do their own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you need to put in your time.
Yeah, and it's really hard to narrow it down, because people use, Apple computers and, Windows versus that, and all the different ways of doing what I'm doing. There must be 100 or more of them out there how to do it.
Yeah, and there's new stuff showing up all the time, new programs, new ways of doing it, new equipment. This is obsolete. This is brand new now. I mean, it's a constant.
You gotta have the best equipment for everything. But the radio station, I've watched it evolve from just a one app to when people started being able to sync up the show and listen to it through their speakers, and now they're sitting in their living rooms or their kitchens and watching us on TV and do the show, and that's really I just love the fact that people are interacting, and they love they're allowing us to be in their homes on Sunday.
And it's so easy to do from your car too, because if you have a car that has CarPlay, where you say plug in your iPhone and then you can play anything from your phone on there, then they just launch your app and there you go. They're live. Yeah. Where do you see everything going? Do you have a plan? Are you just winging it?
No, I've always got a plan. I mean, I would like to, there's several things that I'm working on right now that's going to expand the radio station. But I'm always looking 5 years out.
Yeah.
At least 5 years out, where I want to be next year, and so on and so on. Sponsor wise, which allows us to do the things that we do.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. We've got a really cool place back in Harrison Bay on the lake. We've got a stage there. We've got a really nice studio that 6-7 people can set in. It's all soundproof. There's a window that there's a bar in there called the Chocolate Bar. It's 18 foot long. People come in, they can see the show and interact and watch us on TV. So I'm not interested in getting on a bus and traveling the country and following people around and doing radio. That's just not my thing.
Unless you have to come to Key West.
That's right. Now, if I come into Key West, that's different. But we do shows on the road. We do shows in Panama City every year. I think it'll be his 7th year broadcasting that one, the Panama City Rendezvous. We come down here every year for our festival that's in its 5 years. So we've been up to Canada and did some broadcasts. We're very selective about doing those on the road.
Do you do them around shows that you're producing? Like, I can't see you both going like, it's February, let's head up to Canada so we could shake hands with the people that love our music.
No, everything is planned out. Even this festival, we're already working on next year's.
All right, let's talk about the festival. Another reason why you're down here besides the weather and the drinks.
I love Key West. I love everybody. So.
Of course. So let's talk about your Songwriters Festival.
Yeah, it's the Tiki Man Radio Songwriters Showcase Key West Bound. Mm-hmm. Key West Bound, obviously, is everybody coming here, but that's also a song that B-Man and Michelle have. And we added that to that. Like I said, it's going in our 5th year. The first 3 years, we were at the Tiki House, which was fantastic. We just outgrew it.
Yeah.
it's a very small place, small stage, and it was standing room only.
Right. People were standing outside.
Yeah, people were standing outside, and we didn't have a green room. We had green street.
Right, exactly.
That
was a good one.
Yeah. And then so we were looking for a place anyway to kind of take this to another level. Again, always trying to improve. Mm-hmm. And then COVID hit. And I felt like, and Brian did too, and so did the hippie chick, that it was irresponsible for us to come down here and try to do something last year.
Yeah.
And so we just wasn't going to do it. Not because, the music, and we could have made it all happen. But we have a lot of friends here. That would be, I thought it was stupid to come down here and do that. So we didn't do it. And by doing that, and we made that decision once they announced that Meeting of the Minds the whole week was canceled. I think it was in March of that year. Mm-hmm. We went to work on, okay, how can we do this virtually?
Yeah.
And we spent the next 6-7 months learning everything.
A lot of Zoom.
Yeah, a lot of Zoom, this, that, and all the kinds of stuff. So, and then when it happened, it just went off like everything else, without a hitch.
People were used to it too, which is a good thing. People used to virtual by then.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got 47 artists this year, probably 50 with people that are coming with them. It kicks off today.
Mm-hmm. And where is it kicking off?
It's going to be at Dirty Harry's.
Okay.
We moved everything over to Dirty Harry's this year. Back to the virtual show last year, the Tiki House couldn't allow more than 10 people in there.
Right, because it is so tiny.
Right. So Brian was here. He had a glass around him. We had a few people that were here on stage.
Yeah.
And then we were in our studio in Harrison Bay. We had some people up there. And then we went around the country to the artists and streamed it. So that went off so well at Dirty Harry's. They're like, we want you guys here next year. And so we came down in March.
That built the relationship.
Yeah.
And why did you think it was going to work? Because it is a scary thing, because people were doing virtual, but it was your first year doing it like this. Was there butterflies and nervousness about, man, is this thing going to flop? Because I only say that because there's a lot of people out there who are listening who have a lot of great ideas. Like, everybody's got great ideas. Everybody comes to me with these $1 million ideas, and ideas are kind of crap. Everybody's got. Well, you and I could lock ourselves in this room, all three of us, for like 10 hours and come up with the next world-changing ideas. It's execution.
Yeah.
That is the variable for success when it comes to these things. So tell me about the nervousness, the moments where you may or may not have been like, should we bag this and not doing it? And then how did it feel when it was a success?
Well, we both, Brian and myself, and one thing that I knew that it would work is because I have a lot of faith and belief in Brian. I wouldn't do this festival without him, and I think he feels the same way. But it was all unknown. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't know, and you had a production company that was in our ear. They were out in Arizona, so they're running the whole thing out there. So we weren't. That was really the scary part, because I wasn't in control of anything.
Yeah,
right. They were, and if something happened, I couldn't do anything. But it went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
So we were scared. I mean, we lied to each other, and I told Brian, I was like, we got this. And I didn't have the phone from him, and it's like, man,
and then 2 a.m, the one eye opens up, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but also the fans too, right? The people that are diehard raving fans of yours.
Yeah.
It wasn't like everything else was open and you were the only one deciding to do this. People are understanding. People want to be involved and support and do all those things. How were the sponsors for that? They were supportive? They were
very supportive. Because again, that kind of opened our eyes of like, wow, we can put this on a screen for their sponsor. Their logos can all be on there. They all created. We had, fans around the country send us videos cheering and stuff like that pre-show.
Yeah.
And we incorporated that into it.
Smart.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of scary times because, like I said, just something new. But every time every time I challenged myself to do something new, I learned something. So that's what we did, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And if we hadn't have made that decision, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now with the YouTube and all that.
Right. And you wouldn't have maybe built that relationship with Dirty Harry's, too.
That's right. There were so many things that just fell into place for us.
When your first show was 5 years ago, was that the first festival you've ever produced?
No, I used to come down here and do all the pit stop parties. We would do radio all over the island, here at this place and that place and all that stuff, and it's very exhausting, dragging. And the equipment was a lot heavier then,
Yeah.
You had a bigger board, you had all kinds of stuff. So it was fun, but it was a lot of work. And I was looking for something that we could carve out for ourselves, call it the Tiki Man Radio Festival.
Yeah.
And Brian was eating at Amigos right across the street from the Tiki House.
Uh-huh.
And they've lived here for 5 years now, as of yesterday. And they said, when they were looking for gigs. They just moved here. They're musicians. And they saw, well, what is this, the Tiki House? So they went over there. And, they were, hey, we're looking for gigs. They hired them. And then they said, hey, what about this meeting of the minds? The Tiki House want to know what is this?
Yeah.
And he said, well, let me tell you.
Right.
We'd love to do something like that. Well, Tiki Man Radio, the Tiki House, it was a perfect fit.
Yeah.
So they put us together, and then Irma happened. This was 2 weeks pre-Irma. So we came back right after Irma and did the festival. And it was really their grand opening for the Tiki House.
So you were planning on doing this, and then you hear there's a hurricane coming, and then Irma hits, and you're like, there goes that festival. But obviously things cleaned up, and the city grew strong because of it, and you still did it.
Well, then it became Key West needs us.
Right.
This was not, it's funny how the whole COVID thing changed a lot of, it was different. It was a hurricane that hit our island that we love, and Key West needs us. We have to go.
Right. Support, get people flying in, get people to come in here.
Yeah.
It's different than COVID because it was an event that came and went, and now they needed help and cleanup and support and finances and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we were raising money for Key West Strong, Reef Relief. All those were part of our charities that year. We had up to 5 different charities that year. Everything we did was raising money for them.
Yeah. And how is the festival going now as far as financially? Because I ask this because I've done mega events myself. And, usually when it's the first year for a mega event, you prepare to lose money. And then the second year, you lose a little bit less. And then the third year, you break even. And then the fourth year, you made $1. And then the fifth year, you're good.
Well, again, we will be streaming the entire event on YouTube. And those became individual sponsorships per day.
Right. And just interrupt, but the first 4 or the first 3 before the virtual one, you weren't doing anything on
That's
YouTube,
right. That's true. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Those were definitely losing money at festivals. Okay. Definitely. It's just from a logistics, just getting here.
Right.
Is expensive for us.
And you have to pay acts and there's all these things.
Yeah.
I bring stuff like that up because people listening are like, yeah, he was making millions on that first festival. And people don't realize that it's like,
no.
I mean, a lot of time you're losing millions on the first one.
We lost a lot doing the virtual.
Yeah.
Because we had to invest in all that equipment, buy all the cameras, do all that stuff. So we went in a hole about $8,000.
Right. But now they're paying dividends because now you're streaming using that equipment still. You're not it's not like it was a one and done.
No. We've in every show we've done since then have been that way. So it's but I think a lot of people don't make it to the 5th year for a festival, but because
they don't make it past the first year a lot of times because some people. It depends what your reasoning is. If your reasoning is a cash grab, you're in big trouble. If your reasoning is I want to do something I love and we're going to build this brand and we have fun doing it, and it's just again it's patience and putting in that time and knowing and tweaking and little tweaks here or there. When you tweak 10 things, 10%, it's 100%. Growth can happen from that, right? It's not just 10%. So it's every year, these little tiny tweaks and changes and adjustments from a business standpoint is what causes that hockey stick effect from technology, from business, or from a festival like this?
Yeah, I was at a private event last night talking to the guys from Mile Zero Festival.
Yes, right, because I interviewed him as well, Keith.
Yeah.
And he was like, again, the first year, tons of loss. Second year, little bit less. Third year, COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it just destroys your momentum. But then last year better, and then this coming year even better. And it's you know, perseverance, really. Yeah,
it's the same thing, but I think the reason that happens is because you get smarter. If you can hang in there, figure out what not to do, as opposed to doing everything that's going to cause all these other problems, you get smarter as you go along. Like now we have up to 10 or 12 volunteers.
Yeah,
you know. The first year, we didn't have that. We had to do everything.
Right, and a lot of time the first year sponsors are like, well, we'll think about doing this the second one.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if this is going to be a flop or what.
Right.
Then they see, oh, okay, now you've got a reel you could put together, and you're like, look, see, this is all cool stuff that we did. And they're like, oh,
yeah,
I'm a Budweiser. I want to be involved now.
Exactly. Hell yeah. Give us a call.
TikiManRadio.com.
That's right.
All right, so it kicks off tonight.
2:00 today.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 to 7, and that is it's called a Welcome to the Island Luau, which is sponsored by the Key West Parrothead Club.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And now this is happening before the Meeting of the Minds, right?
Well, Meeting Minds is going on this week.
So it's the same time. It's in
the same
conjunction.
Time. That's more or less over. It's all over the island, really. But over at Tacasa's, we're really doing a lot of that. But that's pretty much Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So is our event. Yeah.
Are you collaborating with them, or it's just separate?
It's separate. Okay. We do our own thing. We work with them.
Yeah.
We've had them on our Sunday show to talk about safety protocols this year.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So we're all working together behind the scenes. But our festival is completely separate from theirs.
Right. Do they promote it at all? Because you would think that a lot of those people want to come and listen to the music that you're providing live.
Yeah, a lot of the artists that are playing over there play at our events too. Yeah,
cool. So it's kind of like a big love fest going on with great music.
I don't know if we go that far, but
we're being optimistic here on the show. It's still early.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we going? Where are we going from here? How's I know you have your plan. Do you have any little sneak peeks of that part of that 5-year plan that you can let out of the bag a little bit?
Let's just say there's a sneak peek. Might include about 2,000 very large marinas around the country.
Nice.
So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. Maybe more festivals, maybe more shows.
Yeah.
What about for Tiki Man Radio? Are you broadening? Are you bringing on more acts, more guests?
Yeah, with what we have weekly guests.
Yeah.
So we always have somebody on the show, and we have a regular segments with that guy. You know, he comes on every week. So we are looking we do a thing called guest DJ, Tiki Head DJ for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I did that one time on Radio Margaritaville.
Right.
And I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So we do that now, you know, so they'll send me their sound bites of them talking, and then I put the music together and put it together, and that's really cool. Out of that came one of our broadcasters, Scotty Chill. He now has his own show.
Yeah.
So I'm really using that as, you know, hey, try this, see what you think.
Yeah.
Knowing that if you get the radio bug, it's going to get in your system.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Keys disease.
Yeah. Well, that's a different thing, but they both get in your system hard.
That's right. But yeah, we want to bring on more broadcasters to really support our. We got a lot of sponsors now, and we want to be able to do more content to where we can focus on those. So.
Right, I love it. I mean, I love everything you guys are doing. You having fun? You seem like you're having a lot of fun doing all this.
You know what? I don't think you can hide passion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Now I'm very, very anal about things going right. They'll all tell you that work around me, and because we've got other broadcasters that are in on the Sunday show with B-Dog and J-Man back home, the hippie chick, of course. But that's only because, you know, I'm running the cameras. I've got a switcher. I'm running basically the show. I'm playing the music, and they're helping me with the shout-outs. So I want everything to run smooth.
Yeah.
Because now it's now everybody's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think people that are passionate about what they do think about their client, their end consumer in mind. And when you want to provide the most amount of value, if you feel that, that was an 8 out of 10, it could have been a 10, you feel like you're letting the people who are tuning in and their valuable time down.
That's right.
So that's, I totally understand why there would be like always striving for it to be better, because you want the listener to really like to be done and be like, oh, I really needed this. I was stressed and I listened to this in the car and now I'm de-stressed.
Yeah. And there's always a potential sponsor out there or partner or something that, or a festival that is listening that you don't know about yet.
Yeah.
They're out there checking you out.
Right.
And see if they really want to be a part of that before they make that phone call.
Right. Yeah. That's good. That's good advice too. What legacy do you want to leave behind? We're getting deep over here at the end.
A legacy to leave behind. I don't know what that is. I think I'll.
What do you want your friends to say about you in 20 years from now?
That they had a hell of a lot of time.
That's
a lot of fun.
No hesitation. I love that.
Yeah. Had a hell of a lot of fun with everything we did. And it's just like on my tombstone, I wanted to say sunrise and sunset.
Yeah. That's great.
On to the next party.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you over there? You're all quiet. Taking a lot of videos. All right. Okay. Well, I can have you on next time so we can get the real scoop on what's going on over here. All right. Listen, Danny, website, social media, let's plug away time.
Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter at Tiki Man Radio, Instagram at Tiki Man Radio, Facebook, of course, Tiki Man Radio.
TikiManRadio.com.
Yeah. TikiManRadio.com is our website.
In the App Store, just search up Tiki Man, and I'm sure.
And that's 3 words. A lot of people think that's 2 words, Tiki Man Radio. It's 3 words, Tiki Man Radio. Yeah. And you can Google it and find all the ways to listen to it. I mean, you put in Tiki Man Radio, it all pops up.
I love it. You're making it easy for people.
Yeah. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's this time a year ago, we had 13 subscribers, and it was me peeling a potato.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have over 600 videos with 5,000 subscribers.
That's great. That's great. Well, you're making people happy.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure. When are you going back into finance?
I'm not.
And that's how we're going to close the show, everybody. Listen, Danny, thank you very much. Hippie Chick, next time a lot more of you. I promise.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Okay.
To listen to any of our previous episodes, visit us at backyardsofkeywest.com. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share the show with your friends.